I'm going to be going over 5 different websites that have upcoming foreclosure auctions in your city. And by every indication, there's about to be a ton of foreclosures hitting the market over the next few months, really over the next few years. So you should be ready to purchase these as an investor, maybe even your principal residence, but you should be aware of these sites. And I'm also going to give you some foreclosure and auction investing tips. I've been to countless real estate auctions. I've purchased foreclosures, so I know a thing or two about it, and I'm going to give you some helpful hints. So let's jump into it. All right, so the first site is HubZoo. And there's different levels of accounts, but you can just search for free. I'll just do Washington, D.C. to give you an idea. And HubZoo, they're trying to make like everything an auction property from my understanding, but this one has like foreclosure sales as well as just, people that just want to sell their house. So we'll just type in Washington, D.C. And as you can see here, there's only 2 that they have, and this auction just ended. And just in general, Washington, D.C., the foreclosure process is just very like lengthy and they don't always have a ton. But there's a couple other sites where we'll find them. And then what's cool is that they'll show you foreclosures like nearby. So that's Alexandria, Clinton, Maryland, Upper Marlboro. I found PG County tends to have a lot of foreclosures. I've been to those auctions before. But you got a lot of options here. You got Woodbridge, we got Laurel, we got Alexandria. So I'm just going to show you an example. So it'll give you the starting bid. That means, you can't just offer like 400,000. There's some place, every auction is going to have like a minimum typically of what they have to clear to sell the property. So here's the house. And some of these oftentimes are going to be listed on the market as well. Sometimes they're not. So foreclosures, there's always you always have to take it with a grain of salt and just factor in a little bit more headache and a little you got to be a little bit more patient. So it doesn't look like a bad house. However, this is important to note, the occupancy status. So there's someone living there and who knows whether or not they're actually going to leave. And so the buyer would basically have to pay cash. So often some people say that's a complete deal breaker. In my book, I'm just like, well, what is it going to cost to evict somebody? Nowadays, it could take longer with everything going on. So even in Virginia, which is a very landlord friendly state, you might have to factor in 6 to 12 months of no rent as well as attorney fees. So maybe you factor in an additional like $10, $20, even $30,000. If it was Washington, D.C., I'd probably even factor in more. But you can also ask an attorney, hey, how much would it cost to get someone out of here in a worst case scenario? And a lot of times you can just kind of offer like cash for keys. You say, hey, here's $5,000, leave the property. So you want to try to like avoid court and lawyers as much as you can, but sometimes you have to do that. And also with HubZoo, and some of these sites have this, some of them don't. You have to pay an extra like 5%. So there's like a buyer's premium. So you have to really like study. So every site's going to be different and have different fees. But this one, there's like a fee involved. They do pay a buyer's agent commission. So if you're an agent, you can get, compensated. And they're just going to have, everyone's going to have different ways of doing things. You have to submit it through HubZoo. So that's the first site. Next up, we have Zome. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And this again has like foreclosure listings as well as like standard listings. So sometimes you might find properties in your neighborhood that aren't like properly listed on the MLS, like maybe they're listed on this site. And you can, there's going to be less competition. The MLS, everyone sees it. A site like this, they make you believe that everyone's seen it, but in reality, not everyone's seen it. So let's do Alexandria, Virginia, see what we have going on here. I'm kind of partial to Alexandria. Okay, so only a few. But, you can, some of these properties are nice and, you can find, again, you can search by different types of properties like multifamily. You can search by multifamily properties, duplexes, different things like that. You can explore these different sites. Always look to see if they have a premium. Some of these are going to have premiums where you pay like 5% extra, no buyer's premium. So this one doesn't have that. And some of them you might actually get a commission on if you're an agent, sometimes not so much. But all of these are going to have possibilities. The way I would describe it is that, just like any type of deal, you're going to have to look at least like 10 or 20 or even 30 to really find like the low hanging fruit, like the best potential opportunities. So just because it's a foreclosure, don't automatically think that it's like some amazing deal. Sometimes there's way overpriced foreclosures.
If you're a real estate investor or real estate agent looking to add a few more of these investment deals to your deal flow every single month or every single year, reach out to me in the link below for a quick call. I do one-on-one real estate investing mentoring with investors and agents across the country. And I'm also building out a real estate mastermind group where we can all collaborate to share deals, raise money, and basically build more wealth and cash flow. So reach out to me in the link below, and I'd love to have a quick chat.
The next foreclosure site, and this is probably the most well-known one and probably the highest rated one, is Auction.com. And they have a ton of foreclosures. They also have different types of properties, but it's going to be a lot of foreclosures and distressed properties. So I'll just show you a quick tour. We'll do Washington, D.C. And you can see there's not a ton, but I mean, obviously there's only two. But there's different properties, I believe, than the last site that we were at. And then it also depends on the area, because like Phoenix, Arizona, for example, like I've been to the auctions down in Maricopa County. They have like donuts and coffee, and it's like this whole event. It's like the whole community comes out to buy foreclosures. DC, it's different just because of the process. But Phoenix, you can see that there's a ton of these foreclosures. And there's also services you can pay to have people like bid on these properties for you if you want. Sometimes you have to like go in person. Sometimes you can do it online. So each site's going to be a little bit different. But I'll just click on one of these. And the majority of the time, unless the property is like listed on the market, and even sometimes when it's listed, you're not going to be able to go inside. So you need to be sure that it's vacant, but you're going to have to just factor in that it needs a lot of work. That's why with foreclosures and different auctions, I like to have some type of insider information, like maybe you know the neighborhood, maybe even know the person that's there. You've driven by it, you know it's vacant, different things like that. See, this one says occupied, titles and liens, and cash only. And that's another thing. You should always talk to your title company when you're purchasing an auction property. Find out the process as far as clear title, because some of these auction properties have lots of title issues, and you don't want to buy a property that you think only, maybe there's only 100K worth of debt is that you know about, but in reality there might be like a second lien of like 75,000. Sometimes that happens, so that's why you need to make sure you're buying like the first position lien. And also this one, it's not offering any commission, it looks like. And some of these, like before the actual auction date, something will happen, like the person will catch up on payments, or they'll make some type of agreement, or the bank will delay it. So like 100% of these do not actually get sold at auction. Sometimes just different things happen before then. A couple of quick facts about foreclosures before we get to the next website. Every state's going to have their own process and procedures and timeframes. But as of now, and this does change year to year, the state with the longest foreclosure process is currently Hawaii. And it takes about 2,500 days to foreclose, which is the equivalent of almost 7 years. But that being said, I would love to purchase a foreclosure in Hawaii. Another interesting fact is that the state with the lowest percentage of foreclosures is, put it in the comments if you can guess, Vermont, with 0.01% of properties being foreclosed on. Maybe that's because Vermont only has like 100 people in the entire state, but that's pretty interesting to know. And I would love to purchase a foreclosure in Vermont if they ever came up. And the foreclosure rate in general in the United States is about 0.5% typically. Sometimes, when in 2009 it was a little bit higher, 2020 timeframe a little bit lower, but usually about 0.5%. Next up, we have Foreclosure.com. And once you get into these sites, there's there's different things that you can find out. Everyone should have their niche, and you can try look into foreclosures, look into every part of the site. There's more to it than just searching by, there's short sales, bankruptcies, different things like that. Again, I'll just show you Washington, D.C., or let's do Virginia, see what we have going on here. So this is the entire state, 15,000 results. That's probably a little bit high, but it's cool because you can, rent to own, bankruptcies. There's so many different types of properties. You can even, let's see, there's multifamily. There's this one. Okay, it makes me actually sign up. But you get the idea. There's so many different types of properties and different foreclosure opportunities out there, and there's going to be a lot more in the near future. Then we have the HUD Home Store. So a lot of times, and it always depends, and the rules are always changing, but you have to, for the first couple of weeks, it has to be an owner occupant, but you can still potentially get a great deal. And not every foreclosure requires cash. Some foreclosures, if the house is not in terrible condition, and it's in barely livable condition, you could still potentially get a loan on it, a traditional loan, or even an FHA or a VA loan in some cases. So let's just try Maryland here. And again, some of these properties will be listed, some won't be. You got to do a little research with foreclosures and spend some time on them. But look at this. We got some potentially good deal. $165 for a house. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, okay, Baltimore, that makes sense. But I guarantee you, you could run a really quick way to run comps is just look at like the Redfin value and then look at what the value of what they want is. And if there's a big difference, like every house I think I've ever purchased, there's always been like a minimum 100K difference between the Redfin value and the asking price, or at least what I ended up purchasing it for. So if there's a big difference, then you'd want to evaluate it a little bit more. Calvert County. So, see this one's 203K eligible, FHA, and it'll have different addendums on it, agent info. So this one also requires owner occupants. And usually that's, like I mentioned, it's for like the first couple weeks or maybe first couple months or so. So if you're an agent or a real estate investor and you're looking to work one-on-one with myself and also join my real estate investing mastermind group, I'd love to have a quick chat with you and see if it'd be a good fit. Just book a call. There's a link below. We can have a quick chat, see if it'd be a good fit. I'm looking for investors and also agent-friendly investors nationwide to help build out this mastermind group so we can collaborate on more deals, get to know more people, and just have a great group of like-minded people working together to make more money, build more wealth, get more cash flow. You know the drill. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.